My name's Oisin. I've been involved in performing arts since I was very young, so I have since I was about seven or 8 years old. It was one day my granddad was going to an audition. He used to be big into the plays and musicals, and it was with Dundalk Musical Society, and I just went along for the role, so I did, and yeah, I've been with it ever since. We do probably 1 or 2 shows every year, panto and a musical, and it's great crack, so it is. And in TY I actually got a chance to do that with my mates from school as well. We put on a school musical as our school does nearly every year, and it was great to like bring that part of my life, which is normally like just a hobby kind of, and do it with the boys from school, which is, yeah, it was different. It was good crack, so it was.
How did I get involved in performance? Good question, actually. So it all started in TY then. So obviously I had no experience previous to that. So I came into TY. I was hoping for the best, really. I've seen the musicals previously, and they gave me a good envision of what I was getting into. The idea came of the audition sheet and laid out. So just kind of thinking in my head, should I do it or should I not? Like thinking of would I get judged for it or would I not? Big hurdle to get over, the social aspect of it. So I just said I may as well go for it. It's TY. It's the 1 year of my life where things don't really matter. So wrote my name down, then got called for the audition. I think it went pretty well because I ended up getting called back again and then sang again. Then another audition, so I got called back again, and then in the end I ended up getting the part, so that was very good. It wasn't exactly the part I wanted, but I know the part that was picked for me was the part that was best for me. So I think I portrayed it pretty well, and yeah, TY was obviously the first experience and probably will be the last, but sure, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, so yeah.
Talk there again.
2 2 1 2 test 1 2 2 2 1 2 2 test 1 2. Hi, my name is Evan Markey. I'm from Carrickmacross, County Monaghan. I'm a teacher here at Colaiste Ris Secondary School in Dundalk for the last 10 years. I teach science and maths and predominantly physics for Leaving Cert, and I dabble in a little bit of musical theatre as well for the last number of years in transition year. So how did I become involved in performing arts? I suppose it started when I first started learning about music around 8 or 9. I was involved in a brass orchestra, and at that age also we got involved in community games, and in particular the variety aspect of community games, which are 15-minute variety shows. And from that we got word about different auditions in the Garage Theatre in Monaghan, so we did a few shows there. And after that, I was still involved with the music, and that kind of progressed into learning the guitar and doing a bit of singing, and that progressed into getting involved with rock bands and things like that, as you do as a angsty teenager. So after that, I kind of left that to one side to pursue science in 3rd level and education then further on, and from that I became a secondary school teacher here at Colaiste Ris. After a couple of years here, the principal came to me and said, I was looking at your CV, I see that you've done music and theatre at certain points in your youth. He was thinking at the time to try to get the musicals back in Colaiste Ris. There was a great tradition there in the school from the turn of the 19th century, seemingly. There's pictures here in the school of shows in the then town hall right up to 1995 when they stopped, and I took over the reins again after the gap with our first show in An Tain Arts Centre for Greece in 2014, and we've done I think 6 shows since that, and it's kind of been a roller coaster since that.
How has COVID affected me? Well, I think it's turned my life upside down. So it has, like, there's no, like, usually I'd be a big man for the football and the music and the musicals as well, but it's just everything's just cancelled. So it is no practices, no shows. We're gonna put on a show in March for our singing group, but that never went ahead. And even with school life, the masks had to be worn the whole time, like sanitised and stuff like that. Like, it's just mad to think that we're like normal was half a year ago now, less than a year ago. But yeah.
Don't feel bad, he had a good life, some hard living. Damn you, Alan Parsons Project, but he'll have to shop to me, and I made sure his legacy lives on. Then there's Drew and Sherry, living in Glendale now, I believe. They're the perfect illustration, they're on the strip. Sometimes the dreams you come in with may not be the dreams you leave, but hey, they still rock.
How has COVID affected me? Another good question, actually, yeah. Hasn't really changed that much. I wouldn't call myself an introvert, but I prefer to stay in my own company at home, so not being able to get out was kind of not really big of a change. Obviously the biggest change was the masks and school and not being able to visit grandparents and stuff like that. So yeah, school was, when I came to the online school, It was an odd experience. It was hard to keep track of all the different things. Everything just got a bit mixed up and stuff. Then obviously the masks, having to go into shops with masks still is a crazy experience after all this time. But yeah, even the Thursday at school, when we were told we'd be back in 2 weeks and then 8 months later come back in September, was obviously a very big change. And even in school now, just sitting in the class with a mask, it's hard to understand, even hard to talk. But yeah, so in terms of like my social life, like I go out before, pre-COVID, I'd go out to parties and meet my friends and stuff like that the odd time, but not like an awful lot. So when COVID changed, it was kind of actually a break for me. It's just a nice little relaxation from the outside world, really.
We were 2 weeks before our opening night when the schools were shut down, and at that point we were getting ready to do High School Musical by Disney. So this is the poster for the show that we never got to do. So it's Disney's High School Musical. It was supposed to happen April 1st, 2nd and 3rd in 2020. The schools were closed on March 12th, which is only 2 weeks to go until the show was opening night. So students were very disappointed about that. So we keep the poster here as a reminder of what we have not accomplished. But they did understand that what was at stake with this virus and all the things that needed to be done to keep people safe and the vulnerable safe. So we postponed the show to until September, October of the next academic year. Unfortunately, that didn't go ahead, so we got word in August that the theatres had to close, and when we returned into the academic year in September, these students had moved into 5th year, and it was very difficult. When I spoke to a few of the students about this, they kind of understood why it had happened, but still there was disappointment there that they'd never really got a chance to perform the show that they'd worked so hard at.
Letting anyone into the theatre nowadays, Earl, isn't that right? How are y'all doing? Oh, so are you enjoying the show? I'm pretty good, aren't I? I know. Oh my God, would you look who's in the audience tonight?
How is my relationship with An Tain Arts Centre? Well, the school and An Tain Arts Centre first began the relationship in 2014 when An Tain Arts Centre took over the then town hall. It was actually the same year that we did our first show under the new generation, which was Greece. So we've kind of built our relationship from, I think, An Tain Arts Centre getting used to Dundalk and the community, and ourselves also getting used to working with a theatre. And I think our relationship has gradually built strength and strength over the last 6 shows that we did. What's important about my experience with An Tain and our school's experience is that they really understand the sense of community and how important that is to the theatre, that the people who come to the theatre to see certain shows and arts shows may not be necessarily the same people who come to see shows for schools and musicals. So those people are getting an experience of the theatre who may not get that normally on a day-to-day basis. So it's getting extra people in, and that is very important to An Tain Arts Centre, and we're delighted to be part of that. This continues on to this academic year, so we were thinking about what we could do with the current transition year programme. And not only that, we normally rehearse here in the school, and that room that we rehearse in has been divided into 2 classrooms, and we were told we pretty much had nowhere to go, so we put out the feelers to certain community groups in the town, and An Tain Arts Centre came back to us, delighted to be able to accommodate us for a rehearsal space every week, and we hope to use that rehearsal space to perhaps record an online version of a variety show, which we hope to put out in sometime in April or May. So we're delighted to be involved with that.
Hold on to that feeling, street lights, people.